Your court television news starting now.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a second or follow-up to I think it was yesterday's or this week's big breaking news announcement, which had to do with the arrest of Mr. Based, aka Jason Itzler. I'm going to be your host for the follow-up and what is going to be some more breaking news today. Your host, NJCourts, here on the NJCourts TV news channel. All right, that wasn't too bad, but I could have done better. But anyways, welcome everybody. I appreciate y'all joining me on this last minute breaking notification. I know it just went out about maybe 15, 20 minutes ago. And if it's kind of like it was last live stream, it's my understanding that some of you aren't even getting the first notification that usually goes out. So hopefully you guys are getting at least the second one, which is the one as soon as I go live that goes out. So being that we've had some issues with the notifications, let's give it a couple of minutes for those to go out, and that way people can start coming in, and we'll just get right to it. Just to give you a little bit of a hint, and I'm sure you saw it in the thumbnail, as to what today's update is going to be about. Today was the arraignment for Jason Itzler. So we've got a lot of information to go over. I've got some things I want to be able to share with you as far as the receipts or court documents. And yeah, we'll just get right to it. So let's start from the top here, as I always like to do, and say hi to everybody in the chat. By the time I get to the bottom, I'm sure that'll be plenty of time for the notification to have gone out, and then we'll get this shit show going. That's not too much of a shit show. That's kind of making my show sound like it's a shit show, but what we're talking about is a shit show. There we go. All right, so let's go to the comment section. What up, what up, what up? Mark Miller. Oh, man, damn it, Roofer. I thought you were going to pull first above Mark Miller today, but looks like Mark Miller pulled first again. Mark Miller coming in first. Uh-oh, we've got Well Out Love Hot Chili Dogs in second. And then Roofer, bro, they left you in the dust at third, man. But I'm just kidding. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to all my mods. Welcome to all my friends. Welcome to all the members of the jury. Welcome to all the viewers, whether you love me, hate me, or you're somewhere in between. What up, Sunshinery? Oh, actually, let me just get this very quick, fuck, man, what do you even call it? A little warning out. So if you are one of those people that do not like hearing me say thank you to all the people that make this channel pretty much be the channel that it is, what it is today, and basically the free entertainment that you people are getting, I suggest that you either A, pause and go do something for 10 minutes and then come back, or B, just go ahead and not even watch, wait till the show's over, and then you can come back, fast forward and rewind, and have complete control of how this show goes, because it's in your hands now, okay? Now, if you want to stay here and watch this live, then I suggest you behave, and hey, just sit back for a few minutes while we say thank you to everybody, and then I promise you, we'll get the news going, okay? It's not that bad. It's not the end of the world, I promise you. Even though I know it's just the same person leaving all the comments complaining that, oh, can you just get straight to the news? You ramble on for an hour when it just should take 10 to 15 minutes. Come on, this is not my first show. As a matter of fact, we're probably in like the 800th episode or show I've done. So unless you've just joined in about a week ago, which maybe one of you did, most of y'all know exactly how this show rolls. So I gave you two options in case you don't like the way I run my show. At least I gave you some options, and there you go. All right, here we go. Let's get this going. What up, Sunshinery? Good to see you in chat, my friend. Another member of the Mod Squad. We've got John Doe in chat. Going down the line, we've got Steve Taff in chat. Man, I'll just put it this way. Let's just read the charges, and then you decide. Juan's Casa de Puta LLC, what up? Darlene, what up, Darlene Valenzuela? I appreciate you starting us off with a $5 super sticker. Hold on, Darlene. Let me get that super sticker up here on my chat so I can see exactly what you sent. And I appreciate your support. You guys know what to do in chat. Spam them gabbles if you got them, please. Darlene, this gabble slam goes out to you, my friend. All right, let's pull up that super sticker here. All right, let me actually get my chat filter set up. I want to see all messages, not just the top ones. All messages. Oh, I see it right there. It's the lemon waving. Thank you, Darlene. I appreciate that. I'm going to wave one right back at you, too. All right. Woo! There goes my mic. I got to do something about this. My table's really slippery. What up, Shell97? Hello, hello, hello. Another member of the jury in the chat. Oop, that's me. Hold on. Let me turn myself down on this phone here. Catch up with the chat on there. Okay, cool. We've got Madame Star in the chat. Welcome. We've got Brooklyn. Good to see you. We've got Sassy Scarlet. Hello. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anybody before we start the show. No, I think we made it to the end. All right, let's get this show started. See, y'all getting smarter. People are saying, "Well, don't say hi. Don't say hi. Don't say hi," because then he'll start the show quicker. No, even if you don't say hi, I'm still gonna probably lag a bit, and the show will still start either way if you did say hi. But good thinking. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let me just get situated here. For the most part, I am. Again, thank you for taking the time out of your Saturday to join me for this brief update. So here we go. So today is Saturday, April the 12th. This morning, Jason Itzler, a.k.a. Mr. Bass, had an arraignment. This arraignment had to do with the most latest arrest. So some of you, if you've been following the Mr. Bass coverage, you were probably made aware that not too long ago he was arrested, I think back in February. And then just most recently on April 11th, just a few days ago, he was arrested again. All right. Now, we didn't really know much about what was going to go on after that arrest because at the time that I broke the news about that arrest, they had not updated the New York State Unified Court Systems website, which is where we always refer to for our court documents having to do with anybody that we're covering from the state of New York. They did update it today. The reason they did update it today is because he had his arraignment today. So let's go ahead and refer to that website now. And from there, it's a pretty detailed, actually, bit of information. So we'll get all the dates that are having to do with this new case, as far as like if he's got when his next scheduled date's going to be. It also show you that, for those of you that don't believe me, that he did have his arraignment today. We're going to read off, most importantly, the new charges that he's facing. Now, don't forget, he is still going through the trial or the court system or process, however you want to call it, for the previous arrest. He has not finished. That case has not been disposed of, okay? So please keep in mind the charges that I'm going to be reading off today are going to be in addition to the already, I think we counted out 7 charges, which included some felonies that he's currently facing, okay? Just please keep that in mind or in the back of your noggin. All right, so give me a minute. We're going to go jump over to that website, and then we'll just start reading some stuff off of there. And then we'll have a little discussion, and then that'll be it. All right? Nothing too bad. All right, let me get my chat up here. I'm going to try my best to interact with you guys, even while I'm doing all this. What up, Loser O? Good to see you in chat. What up, Skylar? What up, Slick X? We got Cowboy Dong coming in. Got a few of you that I didn't get a chance to say hi to. All right. So let me get this screen shared with you guys. Share screen. Let's start with the summary. I think this is it. Remember now, let's just start from the beginning so you can see the 2 different cases. That way it makes it a little bit easier for people to defend. Man, that's going to be a tough one for me. Oh my God. Defender. I'm not even going to try. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Damn, that one's a fucked up one for me, dude. Differentiate. God damn. I still didn't do it right. All right, say it right. All right, anyways, let's not butcher that while we're kind of ahead of ourselves. All right, so let me make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at. Excellent, you can. Let me get this off of here really quick. All right, so those are the 2 cases that he's charging, or excuse me, that he's facing. Damn, I am tongue twisted today. Let me get some more water in me. All right. So these are his 2 cases that he's facing, Mr. Based, a.k.a. Jason Itzler. So you've got the previous case that we already started coverage on a while back. And we're not going to, just for the sake of not confusing people, we're not going to, we will refer to that just because I want to remind you the charges that he's currently facing. And then we're going to read off the newest case that has to do with his latest arrest, which was just a few days ago on April 11th. That one's going to be the one that you can see has the court date or arraignment date for today, April 12th. So let's go ahead and click. Let's go ahead and start with that one, the most recent one. And then, like I said, once we read off the charges, the newest charges he's facing, I'll go ahead and jump over to his previous case. That way, just in case you forgot what the other charges he was currently facing was, I can give you a quick little reminder. All right. So now, and then let me just be very clear too and give a disclaimer. That's what I was trying to remember. Think of the word earlier as a disclaimer. All right. I need to get that one down in my noggin because I'm going to be using that word a lot. So let me give you a quick disclaimer just so that there's not any people already starting a bunch of rumors, which I'm not saying there is, but just for the sake of preventing it. So in the thumbnail that you see, the big picture there, like that one right there you see behind me of Mr. Bass, the one where you can basically see his whole face, that is the most recent mugshot that has to do with the most recent arrest, the one that was just a few days ago. Now, the one that you see him kind of just sitting there like it looks like in a jail cell, if you didn't obviously already tell, that is just an AI-generated picture that's been going around the internet. That is not really a picture that was taken by somebody inside the jail, because I don't want people starting these conspiracies that there's already people leaking images of Mr. Bass inside the jail. No, absolutely not. That is an AI-generated image, but the big picture, the one that you just saw there behind me of Mr. Bass, is a blown up or cropped up version or edited, cropped up. I mean, it is his picture. I just cropped in a little bit just so it was took in a more of the thumbnail, is from his most recent mugshot. Just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. All right. So, what up, Johnny Donuts? All right. So let's go down. Let's click on the newest case. So that's going to be the one down here, or excuse me. The fuck. I remember. Oh, I forgot on this one. I got to keep clicking and clicking shit. So let me see what you guys are looking at. Actually, you're not looking at the right. See, sorry. Let me go back to what I wanted to show you. Fucking. I hate this thing's fucking works horrible with sharing. Okay, here we go. This is the one I want to share. Here's the one where you should see the two case numbers. All right, here we go. Now you guys are all zoomed in. All right, there we go. So there you go. That's the two cases that he's facing. Now, let's go ahead and click on the most recent case, the one that was just basically the one he had his arraignment on today. That's the one that I'm highlighting right now. So you see appearance date, April 12th. So let's click on that. Make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at now. Perfect. So here's the summary of this case. So this again, he was arrested on April 11th, but remember, the incident that this arrest stems from was from March 5th, okay? Now, if you forgot what the incident was, you can refer to my broadcast, my last broadcast or update on this case, and I went over that. But basically, I showed you a few documents that were allegedly, I guess, posted by Mr. Bass or put out into the public by Mr. Bass, basically soliciting, people to harass an individual that's already got a protective order against him. And because of that, this allegedly led to a warrant to be issued, and now it led to an arrest that was made on live stream, as a matter of fact. And we actually featured a little clip when we did that update. I guess it was Josh Block's live stream, and you can hear Mr. Bass in the background asking Josh to shut the live stream off, pretty much trying to, keep people from seeing that he was going to get arrested. And then in, typical Josh Block fashion, he basically leaks what's going on by saying, okay, guys, Mr. Bass wants me to shut off the stream. He's getting arrested right now. So that basically leaked the fact that he was getting arrested that night. And then we got a picture of him that we featured yesterday of him being arrested, of him being put in the car. And then the news got put out there. And I wasn't the first to break it. And I made that clear when I went over that update. But either way, this is the summary. So This incident is the arrest was on April 11th, and it stems from an incident that happened on March 5th. He had his arraignment today, or bond hearing, you can call it. And let's take a look at those details. So let's go to appearances. So he's got, so he had his hearing today at, looks like at 9 a.m. For some reason, they've got one scheduled at 5 p.m., but that shows transfer. So I don't think that has to do with the court. That might just be like some type of note, but let's just stick with the arraignment here. So April 12th, 9 a.m., arraignment, okay? Maybe this means I don't know if transfer means he may have been bonded out, because let me just go ahead and break this news. The judge did go ahead and set a bond amount. So he didn't ROR him, but he did set a bond amount. Okay, so I'll go over that bond information here in a second. Now, whether somebody bonded him out already, I don't know. You got to remember, it's 4:17 my time. It's 6:17 in New York City right now. This note is timed 5 p.m., which I would assume is probably Eastern time. So it says transfer. I don't know if that means they transfer him to another jail, if that means they're transferring him out of jail. I'm sure if he does get bonded out, I'm sure he'll come on whatever live stream platform he's going to use to make sure and let everybody know that he got out of jail. But as of when I received the news as far as his bond information and his arraignment information, he still was in custody. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and look at the charges that he's facing. Okay. So please, again, keep in mind, these are in addition to the previous charges that he's currently facing that we're going to go over here in a bit. So let me just make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at. And if you guys have questions in chat, just hold off for 1 second, because I'm going to be reading off some stuff, so I'm not going to have a chance to actually look at chat right now. And I just want to make sure I didn't miss. I thought I saw something. Okay. All right. No, I didn't miss anything, but yeah, just FYI. Give me just 1 second here. All right. Hold on. I see gavels. Am I not caught up here? Oh, I didn't catch up. Sorry. I'm still way up here. God damn it. My chat sucks today. Not you guys, but my little chat stream box is not catching up. All right. And welcome to all the 100 of you in here. So yeah, I guess the notifications are finally going out. So I guess people are just in time because we're reading out the charges now. See, maybe those were people that went and did exactly what I told them to. Wait about 10 to 15 minutes and then come back, right? And then perfect timing. So here you go. So the 3 charges now he's facing, basically what he's arraigned on today, having to do with this latest arrest are, and we're going to read this together here. Starting from the top, we have a Class D felony, 1 count of making a terroristic threat. We have a misdemeanor count of criminal contempt in the second, disobey court. And then we have a Class E felony, 1 count of criminal contempt in the first, order/protection. So I have a feeling that has to do with him breaking the protective order that was, already put in place against Mr. Bass, protecting him from making any contact or harassing Mr. Alex Novell, okay, who is the alleged victim in both these cases now that Mr. Bass is facing. So let's go over to, there should be another tab here that should give us some more information. Let's see here. Oh, it's usually the appearances section. So usually it would give us more of an outcome here, and it just says rescheduled. But fortunately for you, somebody was able to attend that arraignment this morning and were able to take some notes, and they were able to share those notes with me. So let me read to you what his bond information is. And like I said, maybe he's already been bonded out. Maybe he's still in custody. But either way, he was not RO'd, is my understanding. My understanding is that he was basically given a bond amount. And let me go over that information. Just give me 1 second here. All right. Let me take a little quick sip of some water really quick. And let me get chat up here, because now I can start reading you guys' questions. All right. And while I'm reading that bond amount, let me bring up the previous charges and current charges that he's still facing from the original case that we had started coverage on, Mr. Base. Okay. That should be this one right here. Yeah, now I was correct. It was a total of 7. So basically now with these 3 new charges that have been added against him, he's facing a total of 10 charges. Let's count the felonies. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 felonies. And then the other 4 charges will be misdemeanors. I think 3 misdemeanors and 1 violation. But, most importantly are the felonies, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 felonies, 10 charges total, 6 felonies, 3 misdemeanors, 1 violation. And what you're looking at right now are the charges from his previous case, not the most recent one. So let's start from the top. I'll read this with you really quick, and then I'm going to read you that bond information, and then we'll take some questions. And then that's it. Like I said, short, sweet, right to the point today, right? And at least I put a disclaimer out there just in case you came at the beginning. So you can't hate me too much today. All right. So we've got a Class E felony, 1 count of criminal contempt in the first. We've got a misdemeanor count of criminal contempt in the second, disobey court. We've got a violation count of harassment in the second, physical contact. We've got a Class E felony, 1 count criminal contempt in the first, follows. We've got a Class E felony, 1 count criminal contempt in the first, physical contact. We've got another Class E felony, 1 count criminal contempt in the first, physical menace. We've got a misdemeanor, 1 count criminal contempt in the second, disobeying court. And then you have the 3 new charges that we just read off earlier. Okay? So, bond information. Let me get this out of the way because I don't want people coming in right now and going, oh, those are his new charges, because, sometimes they don't rewind and they don't catch what I said earlier. So, bond information, okay? Let's see here. So, it looks like, and again, this is just what was sent to me. I just want to make that clear. Unfortunately, I don't have any receipts to show you, which I would prefer. But I'm going to assume this is all correct, okay? This is going to be, so basically, he is facing a bond of $50,000 total. Now, remember, if he's going to use a bonding agency, they have a certain percentage that they have to, basically, the judge will allow them to pay in order to get out, okay? Average, it's about 10 to 15% is usually what the arrestee or the person in jail has to pay of that total amount to get out, okay? But in this case, instead of it being 10%, it looks like it's going to be 30%. So let's do the math here. So if there's any mathematicians in the chat, do 30% of $50,000, and that's what his bond is supposed to be. So I am not a mathematician, so I'm going to have to bust out my calculator. So 0.50, oh wait, no, 0.30, excuse me, 0.30 times 50,000. So that's $15,000. No. Hold on, Roofer. Oh, well, you were calculating the 10%, I think. Yeah. 15K. So 15K is what somebody needs to pay, which, hey, it's New York City. I know there's some people that probably got some pretty deep pockets, but like I said, I don't know if he's been bonded out yet or if he's still in custody, but for sure it appears that he wasn't RO'd, which, for the most part, a lot of the people we've been covering that get in trouble in New York City, it appears that that's usually what they do, is they'll just be RO'd without having to pay a bond. But in this case, and it probably has to do with the fact that he's already got a current case going on that he was released on, and I'm sure there's probably conditions on that release which have to do with, you can't, please stay out of trouble again. That's why we're releasing you on your own reconnaissance. I always have trouble saying that. But basically, that's why they don't put a bond amount, okay? So I have a feeling, based on the fact that they already RO'd him on the previous case and that it's not been disposed of, it's still an active case, that's why they had to put a bond amount. and it is as 50, it's going to be 30% of 50K, which it looks like is $15,000. Now, please keep in mind, whoever puts up that 15K, if Mr. Base does not meet the conditions of his bond, then that person may have that bond amount forfeited, okay, by the court. So there is a liability for whoever does put that up, okay, because again, just like Mr. Base had to follow those ROR conditions, which obviously it looks like he couldn't. There are going to be some bond conditions that are going to be set, and he's got to follow them. The most important one, which is don't get in trouble again, and 2, you got to show up to all your court dates once you get released. All right. And and either way, fuck the bond amount. Don't forget, this guy's now facing total of 10 charges, 6 of those being felonies. Okay, so in my opinion, again, I'm just a normie, like they say. That's no bueno. Okay, no bueno. What up, Alex? Looks like we got Alex in the chat. Alex says, I think that's real, Alex. He's also going to have a supervised release this time, I'm pretty sure. I was wondering about that because obviously they didn't put any bond conditions out on the notes we were looking at, but I was going to say, I would imagine there would probably be some other conditions, that would be included in that. Do you know, Alex, if he's already been bonded out by any chance? I don't know if that's something that you know. We were talking about that earlier, excuse me. Yeah, he might bail out and be walking around, but even with people with deep pockets, it's still hard to manage to get out or wiggle out of 6 felonies, even with the plea deal. I would imagine there's still going to be, let's just put it this way, okay? Either way, no matter how this ends up for this guy, in my opinion, and again, I'm just a normie, I would think having to basically be supervised for the next who knows how long would suck for me, especially if you're one of these live streamers that, basically put your whole life out on the camera for everybody to see, including your haters, right? Which are going to be clipping and probably submitting anything that they think is breaking your bond conditions to the court, FYI, So he could be smug about it, but, and he'll probably, just knowing how most of these narcissists are, is probably going to make a joke about it. But I could probably guarantee you deep down inside somewhere, that guy's probably a little bit nervous about what the future holds. And if he's not, then, man, hey, you know what? I would probably say that guy's probably got some things going on up there, but that's just my opinion. What do I know? All right. That's all I got. Let's see. What else? I'm just trying to think if I have any other dates coming up here soon. No, I actually, like I said, I wasn't even planning on coming on live here this weekend, but as promised, if there was any breaking news coming up, I'm here to break that and share that with you guys. Remember, for those that are going to go and cry and make a little big deal right now and probably have their whole Saturday and weekend ruined, remember, I leave this with you today because I see some of you in chat. It's just the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, it's just the internet. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Please stay safe. I will see you guys most likely on Wednesday, or unless there's some more breaking news, of course, we'll break that. Actually, I do have a little smidget of some breaking news. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I will leave you with this piece before I say goodbye. But before I get to that piece, let me just finish what I was going to say earlier. I will see you guys most likely Wednesday. Well, not most likely, for sure, I say most likely because unless there's, some breaking news and I come on again, then that's why I mean most likely. But for sure, I will see you guys on Wednesday, which will be the kickoff/start date for the official NJCourts West Coast IRL road trip/IRL tour. So it's already here, my friends. few more days, and 2 weeks in California is on like Donkey Kong. And boy, oh boy, we're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be plenty of content, and I hope you guys are going to join me on the journey. Anyways, oh yeah, okay. So that was what I was going to finish, and then I was going to say something else. Fuck was I going to say? I was going to leave you with a little bit of some court news. All right. So it's my understanding, and again, I have not been able to verify this because I did go to the oscn.net website. It is my understanding that, and I'll tell you exactly where I got this information from. This is from the words of Ski Mask Andy. So, it's kind of one of those things where, for the most part, I probably wouldn't hold anything he says to be true. Like 99.9% of the shit that comes out of his mouth's bullshit. But this I do think falls under that 0.01% of some of the stuff that he says that is not bullshit. But according to Ski Mask Andy, his words, it appears that old girl, you guys remember his little fling, whatever you want to call it, basically a female that he took advantage of, one of the many females that he takes advantage of. Old girl, remember old girl? Remember how she was in jail and she was going through the whole process of being put into like a halfway home, to basically hopefully get some help with her drug addiction and, becoming a better member of society and all that. And for a second, I kind of thought, man, as long as she had been in jail for, and, it looked like they had pretty much given her a big, basically extended a big opportunity or chance for her to be enrolled into this program, because I don't think she generally would have qualified for it because of her criminal record. So it was already like, hey, we usually don't do this, but we'll go ahead and do it just this time for you. So they were going to put her in a halfway house, right? Well, it's my understanding that I guess something happened. I don't know the exact details, but basically she fucked up and she is now back in jail. So that's not good, because when I was going through her court notes, as more specifically her sentencing notes, they basically gave her like a deferred sentence kind of, which basically meant this: if she completed her rehabilitation at the halfway house, like they were going to dismiss some things and la 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 la. But if she fucked up, which she did, I think she's now going to be going to jail for a few years, is what I had read on the paperwork. So kind of ironic, And again, I think they had basically brought her down from a felony to a misdemeanor charge of threatening act of violence, which is two of the charges Ski Mask was facing out of the many other charges he's now facing. But I just think it's crazy how you got one person that's going to be going to jail now for a few years on like a misdemeanor. And then you've got little Ski Mask Annie now running around still on the streets. Just got arrested a few days ago, got released. I don't know why or how, but either way. And it looks like he's just back to doing the same shit again and waiting to get arrested again. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy. Anyways, that's what he said. I'm still waiting on the oscn.net website to basically update itself, and I'm sure it will here pretty soon. But if that's the case, if that's really the truth, then yeah, it appears that old girl will be in jail for a few years now. So more info to come. All right, do you guys have any questions before I go or call it a day? I'm going to take a few questions for a minute or two, just in case I missed anything important while I was reading some of this news. Loser O, yeah, we're going to have fun, man. 420 is going to be Loser O and NJCourts Day. I got my plants transplanted. Remember the kind person that had sent me the plants, the organic nutmegger? Shout out to you if you're in chat. They had sent me a total of, let's see, I think it was like 5. I think it was either 4 or 5 tomato plants and 2 cannabis clones. Well, and then there was I forgot the name of it, but it's basically like a house plant. So I think it was like 4 tomato plants, 1 house plant, and then 2 clones. I can tell you right now or give you an update. I'm happy to give you an update that everything is still alive. Everything has been transplanted as of a few days ago, and everything is looking good. As a matter of fact, we had a little kind of some cold, close to a freeze a few nights ago, and I was a little worried, but the plants did great through it. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we have a nice harvest here come October time. But I was worried. I was a little nervous about the transplant, but it worked. So I think it's really cool because basically the way I look at it, and I know some of you probably aren't going to see it the way I do, but for those that do, I appreciate something like this because it's kind of cool to think that somebody was able to basically send me plants that are able to feed me and my family basically across the country. And I'm able to receive them, keep them alive, plant them. And now these plants, like I said, are going to hopefully grow, be harvested. And then from there, now I can share those seeds with my family and friends. And now they can keep, passing down that process. So it's really cool if you think about it. You know what I mean? And so I'm very thankful again for the organic nutmegger. I knew I was going to fuck that up for sending those to me. And yeah, just wanted to let you guys know, give you a quick update that they are still alive, doing well, and thriving. Some soybeans. I don't know how soybeans do down here in New Mexico. I have never grown soybeans. As a matter of fact, I've only had soy milk, which I'm not sure if that's even where it comes from, which I would assume soybean, soy milk, but that's as close as I had something. Actually, no, I probably had some soy and some vegetarian stuff before, but yeah, I've never grown soybeans. Man, that's all I got. Hey, the loser owed. Literally, they came in those little plastic clear cups, man. Just simple, easy, and that's what kept them alive for a few days in the mail. And now I got them transplanted and going, man. So it just shows you don't have to be too complicated, even with plants, So it's fucking cool. Anyways, that was just a little bit of some side information that had not to do with some other info or stuff that had nothing to do with court updates, but for those of you that care, I just wanted to share that with you. Give a man a joint, he's high for the day. Teach a man to grow, he's high for life. I love that, Roofer. Fuck yeah. There you go, man. Give a man a joint, he's high for the day. Teach a man to grow, he's high for life. You want to hear another one? A good friend told me this one. This is another one I like because this is what I think a lot of these people be doing right now. Don't be spinning. It's basically kind of like they say the definition of insanity. It's kind of like this, but I like this way of saying it. It's kind of like spinning mud. It's spinning tires in mud. That's what I think's going on with Ski Mask right now, and a lot of these other people we cover. They're basically spinning tires in mud, which means you ain't going nowhere doing the same shit, brother. Sometimes you got to get out, take a shovel, or put some fucking rocks or some sticks and shit under them tires and get out. But anyways, you doggy. Shabam. I don't know where I came up with that. Anyways. You guys have a great Saturday. That's all I had for you guys. So again, if you guys want to do your own follow-up, your own Mr. Based investigation, remember everything I shared with you this afternoon is all public information. It is very easily accessible by you guys. I'll start you off here. All you got to do is Google search New York State Unified Court System and just follow the prompts, man. All you're basically doing is looking for a case search. You'll just plug in a first and last name, and there you go. So easy peasy. I try to be as transparent as I can. Fortunately, some people use it for negative and bad reasons, but for the most part, I think most people have learned a lot from this channel and have used it, to help, protect themselves and their community and family. So, and that's what I encourage people to do with the information that I share with you. Not the latter part. All right, my friends, we're going to call it a day. Like I said, be safe. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Unless there's any more breaking news that's going to be coming up between now and the kickoff date for the NJCourts TV West Coast IRL road trip tour, I will see you guys Wednesday. I am going to be putting up some short videos kind of advertising the tour. You know how I am. I like to do funny, stupid shit. And I'm going to be putting up a few questionnaires, some votes, surveys, or I don't know what you call them, basically asking for your help to help me decide where I should go on a few places, because I'm still stuck on between redwoods, or do I go to the sequoias? Long and skinny, short and fat. You know what I mean? Well, the sequoias are actually still pretty tall, but they're really girthy. Anyways, yeah, so that way, I can get some input from you guys, the chat, and that'll help me make a decision. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for some notes on the community tab. And that'll be it. All right, folks, have a great day. NJCourts is, and I'm not going to go crazy on y'all today because my throat's starting to hurt. And I think I'm losing my voice. You're welcome, Bebop. Did I say that right? All right, good. I don't know if it's what the fuck's going on, but I can't see very well right now. So I'm having to do this a lot. I apologize. I'm squinting a lot today. But anywho, yeah. So have a good one. I'm not going to yell or scream or anything like that. So I'll just leave you guys with this. Please keep your head on a swivel. Check that 6 every once in a while. And take some time to love somebody today. I love you guys as always. NJ Courts is officially out of here. Peace, everybody. Take care.